Just want to get your take on this stock and some of the recent action that we've seen. Of course, we're going to talk about housing later in the show, but Home Depot very closely tied to housing.
Yeah, we think the results will end up being fairly muted and no big surprises on either side. Both Home Depot and Lowe's beat on revenue last quarter, and we expect them to do the same. They both snapped an 8 consecutive comparable sales decline streak last quarter, which is kind of a surprise, but we'll see. Likely they should maintain their full year guidance, but they may widen that range just a little bit due to some of the uncertainty around that trio of consumer spending, tariff noise, and high rates. Valuations at last year's levels. And it's come down a little bit. So this year it's at 25 times forward, a little more rich than Lowe's at 18 times. But just some relative performance. Home Depot outperformed the Dow Jones Home Improvement Retailers Index year to date and over the past 12 months. But it still does trail the broader discretionary sector.
All right, so you're talking about valuation. That's something a lot of people watch. Home Depot a bit more expensive than the broader market. Something I was looking at. The analyst consensus on this name is overweight. The price target is 4 to 22. That's about an 11% upside from where it's trading right now. You as an investor, do you see that kind of upside in this stock going forward, especially with mortgage rates above 7% right now?
Here we are. So consumers are cautious. They may be holding off on both small and large home projects, and it's a concern for a subsector that typically leads housing activity, like you'd mentioned earlier. I think much of that hesitation is likely tied to tariff uncertainty, but maybe not directly with Home Depot. They source more than half their products from the U.S., but tariffs were announced, they were paused. It's just creating pricing volatility and it's stalling some decisions. Man, I don't think anybody wants to start a project and halfway through see a 15 or 20% increase in materials costs. But so to your point, high mortgage rates and low housing turnover are definitely part of this. Fewer people are moving, and March existing home sales were the lowest since 2009. It just reduces that urgency to renovate. And you had mentioned this earlier, but typically if you're going to renovate or do any kind of project, you're doing it right before or after you move.
One last question. Lowe's also reporting this week. Just your quick take. Would you prefer to own, I know you own both, but if you were having to buy these stocks just right now, would you prefer to own Lowe's or Home Depot right now?
Yeah, we actually like them both. We're not necessarily adding to or making an initial position in HD around earnings. It's a holding in our dividend growth portfolio. So is Lowe's. But the two sides here that when the housing market recovers, they're positioned well. And we like Home Depot on the pro side. And they may have already priced in a softer report with shares off 2% year to date. So they might do well today if they meet or exceed, but more importantly, if management maintains guidance. And I think that goes on both.